on Google Chrome is for is for Roll20. Everything else I memorize.
All right, we have now started. This is session 1 of Torchbearer 2nd edition. We're going to be playing the Torchbearer game. We're going to get back in it. I think this is kind of our 5th time. I have it year 5. Those are like our seasons of kind of jumping back in and continuing our characters. Steed is not available. I don't know how his availability will be. But we are playing. We're going to be playing the game. This session. We're just going to start, I think, and kind of just describe what this season's going to be about. So I am the GM. I'm Sean. Or at least I am the GM right now. I'm hoping that we can have kind of like a round robin GMs where we each make a dungeon, if you voluntary basis, not a requirement. Say if you don't have time to make a dungeon, you don't have to, or if you don't feel like it. But I've made a couple, but I'll run one, and then if someone else wants to run one after this dungeon is done, we can run that. And I've made a character that I will introduce after I've run my adventure. Say I say dungeon, but it doesn't have to be a dungeon. But it needs to kind of follow the loose structure of a dungeon, I think, for Torchbearer to really sing.
We will not be singing though, because I think we'll get in trouble from the DMCA.
Yeah.
Copyright songs.
Exactly. I guess because this is the first session, I will do a world recap. I don't know. There's lots of competing factions, lots of I guess bad stuff that's been happening recently. The town of Crowthorn, I guess, was I don't know, like they weren't talking to anyone, and then a group of adventurers decided to go talk to them, and they were there, but they were like struggling with famine and like a bunch of other things. And then that group of adventurers died, and then we advanced like 10 years, or was it 20 years in the future? I can't remember what the time skip was. It might have been 50 years. But since then, the competing factions that were like warring over Crowthorn basically tore it apart. And the cult of corruption basically managed to escape their magical binding from because they corrupted the first tree of the world, and the corruption slowly seeping into the world and overtaking the forest and the surrounding area. While at the same time, a mysterious fire has been raging in the old forest, burning it basically for years. And you guys, the group of adventurers, set out to kind of investigate that / make money doing stuff. The majority of you, I think, went to go raid Crowthorn because it was easy money. And then while you were raiding Crowthorn, you got kind of embroiled on both sides of the cult of chaos and the Black Cathedral that is basically painted kind of black, and the windows are tinted red with some sort of ichor. And and I think that's where we are. You guys did some adventuring, did some clearing of things, but I think overall that's what happened. At one point you guys got, or not you guys, but like some of you got tattooed, branded by with the corruption plague symbol, temporarily alleviating the plagues that you carried, and then you managed to clear that with water from like the font of plenty, is like this world's kind of like magical cure like cup or whatever, but it's more like a temple. And came back, and you may or may not have accidentally created a vampire. Anyways, I think that is where we begin. You guys are in the Heartlands at the Crossroads Keep. The Crossroads Keep is a kind of very bustling keep that situated in the kind of like more like rural pastoral setting. There's like a eastern road to the coast that has like it's a very major city. So basically all the grain in the surrounding farmlands kind of get filtered through this and then get sent that way on long caravans to that are like well guarded. There's the mountains to the east that are like obnoxiously large. They're so huge that like they're taking up like a third of the sky in the east. Think like from the what's that one? Something Peaks. I can't remember the Cthulhu one where like those weird Antarctic strange mountains. That's kind of what's going on.
It's like in the mouth of madness. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Sorry, Sasha came and was talking to me again. But yeah, the Mountains of Madness is exactly what I was thinking.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then yeah, so we wintered here. It's now springtime. Aelfwynn's friend and I guess son of his mentor came and was like, I need your help. I have reason to suspect that the leader is a vampire. And that wouldn't really concern anyone. It's kind of just general evil if you don't get paid. But it does concern the elves. They are planning to leave, which is a little like, would they actually care? But yeah, so his friend is Torsten. He's an adventurer, and yeah, he's basically, I think they're vampire. There's a vampire, and it's because like elves are functionally immortal. The only thing that could in this world, the only thing that can kill them isn't old age, but like dying from other causes, which makes them especially susceptible to other immortals living off of their lifeblood.
Yeah. Freaking vampires.
So like
Become like a battery.
yeah,
They
there's like one vampire that like feeds them gruel and like sucks them dry essentially, and then like gets another elf in like a millennia or two. But yeah, basically that's like the big worry. But last year the elves were like, the forest might be lost. I think we should leave. And I think Aelfwynn was trying to convince them that no, we should stay and fight. And they're like, I don't know if we can. And Aelfwynn was like, well, I think
I can.
I can. And they were like, okay, maybe
Go ahead.
Go ahead, we'll see. And then yeah, basically that was it. And then I think one of you was kicked out of the elf city for loitering. As I recall. And there was like a big fight at the council.
Yeah, I think I was away for that.
But anyways, that's the world. That's the synopsis, the beginning. This is going to be kind of a shorter session, so let's do Beliefs, Instincts, Goals, but try to keep it tight. Where do you guys want to do before I like set the stage for things? We could do one of two things. So as you guys are preparing, to leave, the town, the Crossroads Keep got like one of the leaders gives you another hook. He's like, one of the captain of the guards comes up to you and he says, like, we can't spare a man, because like the guard isn't really a guard, it's more of like a militia of like different guilds, and they'll just be like, the bakers can have guard duty on Wednesday or something like that. So like the different guilds take turns throughout the month, and so they're like, we're not going to send a bunch of bakers to go hunt down a ghoul, but there's a roaming ghoul in the lands, and the halfling village of Smallton hasn't sent its grain this way. We either think they're boarded up and hunkering down because of a rumored ghoul that like was spotted last fall at these gates, and we had to drive it away. So we're thinking that we can pool some money. Probably if you help Smallton, there's probably a little bit of money in there too. And you can go deal with this ghoul one way or another and drive it from these lands or kill it. So that's basically another one. So you tell me what you guys discuss which ones you want to do, and then we'll set our beliefs instincts goals.
Yeah. Well, sorry, just to clarify, so we have like our kind of like base of operations up and coming at Crossroads Keep, right?
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, it is at Crossroads Keep. You guys are wintering there mostly.
Okay.
I don't know if I will have to look up the rules as I forgot to do that.
No, that's
about
fine.
your I think you have like you have a guard there.
Yeah,
If
like
I
we have
recall,
a guy.
and if you didn't
We
have
have
enough
a
food, if
singular
you
guy
didn't
stands
leave
there.
enough food for the winter, he might have abandoned his post.
Okay.
But
I think we left a
yeah.
decent amount of food there, though, right?
Yeah, I think there was like enough water for him for the winter, and there was, I think,
Like a cat. I'm just gonna fill up your food bowl. Give you a bunch of water.
I think there
You
there
in a
was
while.
food, if I recall, but
There was like 3 wheels. There was like a wheel of cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Elven whey
Cheese and
bread.
water.
yeah. So what is it? Yeah, at the guild
There
hall
was some-
apartment, there's a blanket. All right, what is? Do you guys have I guess the base camp. There we go. Yeah. So there's cash, there's rope, there's books, there's a jug of wine. He'd probably stay, and a wheel of cheese. Yeah, he's probably staying there. Well, I'll figure out how much he eats, but he's probably staying there. I think it's probably like.
Yeah. I only ask because I was wondering if the group wanted to maybe barter with the town to instead have them sort of invest in our headquarters rather than a straight money payment. I mean, technically, those can be the same thing. Like abstractly, we can take the money and invest it in our headquarters. But I was wondering if maybe we should try and like, barter for a greater investment, but instead of being cold hard cash, it could be like a favor, or like some kind of not political clout, but you know what I'm getting at, like basically establishing ourselves more in the settlement rather than just getting money for something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys have the writ to the town or something.
We have the what?
Like you have like the deed to the town, essentially.
Well, to Crowthorn, yeah. But nobody lives there, so that's not really that useful.
Yeah, but if
is
you
Crowthorn where we have the?
Yeah, Crowthorn is the
like
location of where you like. It's a ruined town.
Oh, sorry. so
that
not
you have
Crossroads.
you have your base there.
Okay.
At Crowthorn, you could. Like talk to the people at the Crossroads and be like, can you load up our caravan with goods rather than straight gold. I think
Sorry, because I was thinking if our base was here, then we could like maybe get people to like do us favors in terms of like standing watch or building things. But sorry, if it's at Crowthorn, then yeah, money is probably easier just because then we can.
I mean, it is the same difference, though, right? Like, we could say, hey, instead of paying us, send us shipment of X to Crowthorn for us, right?
Yeah.
We need that for our base camp. I'm sure that's the kind of thing we could do.
Okay. Yeah, either way. I was just looking to get us more established in the town, but I was like, I'm pretty sure our town is a ruin. But yeah, that makes more sense that there isn't actually civilization around our.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Go
post
ahead,
out the
Corey.
books now that I have physical books I can look at.
Oh yeah. And then yeah, sorry. So Chris, I'm going to turn to you because you're kind of the de facto leader of our group at the moment. So
Yeah, because you need like goods and stuff. So if you want, for example, wanted a, I don't know, some sort of building, you can get like some of it has like some minimum requirements. So let's look at that quickly just to give you an idea. But which adventure do you see yourselves going on?
so it's
The ghoul or the like investigating the vampire? I think the ghoul might be a shorter adventure. The vampire is a bit longer, probably.
Sorry, well, where did you say the vampire was?
Vampires at the cathedral in
Right. Well,
like next to the
given
forest.
that we have a vested interest in keeping the path from Crowthorne to Crossroads Keep safe and relatively clear, I think probably dealing with the ghoul would be, even though like, you know, like from a character perspective, the vampire is more pressing. This is easier to accomplish and also is necessary. You know, you don't want to get ambushed by a ghoul.
yeah. Well,
So
for me, it feels like
I'm happy with focusing on the simpler task for now, if only to secure our position so that we can venture further afield later.
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, for me, it feels like it's the more local issue, and I'd rather just deal with what's
Sort it
kind of
out.
right around us before we go dealing with kind of these great, almost existential threats. So
Right, yeah, and I'm just looking at some of these things. Yeah, some material that you could get would be like wood and stuff, probably, and or you could be like, you know, make a deal them to like for other things than straight money.
yeah, that's okay though. I mean, we definitely could get favors, but I was thinking if it was like in this town, then we could like essentially secure labor is what I was thinking, or
Yeah,
like
we can do that anyway.
yeah, true.
I mean, it's a bit of a harder sell, but also like because it's balanced, right? Because you can have a base camp in a city, or like in like a like not like in a city for like game rule reasons, but like functionally it's in the city. But like, you know, it's all balanced basically.
Yeah, that
Some
makes
things
sense.
are harder because you're in the cities, but some other things are easier. But I'm sure we can convince people to like hoof it out to Crowthorne, you know, under the right circumstances. That's the kind of thing we can do. I don't remember how. It's been a while since I looked at the rules, but I know that that's a thing you can do.
Yeah, you
that
can
makes
just
sense.
you can convince your friends, your family. You can pay people to go there. Essentially, you give them a down payment, and then you like them. Then later they might request more money to stay on. But otherwise, yeah. Okay, so beliefs, instincts, goals. So just to give a little recap, your belief is kind of like not necessarily a like the thing you live by, but it's kind of like a guiding principle. The creed is more of like the creed is like the bigger thing. The belief is like what you believe personally, either about something larger or like about the world in general. And your instinct needs to have a trigger, needs to have basically a where, a when, and a what you're doing. And your goal needs to be like session specific or like a little bit bigger than a session specific, adventure specific. And basically what you hope to accomplish in this adventure. And they could be as like existential as convince this other person in my group that like I am a worthy individual, or it could be much more like get gold, get home sort of thing. So who wants to start? I think this is going to be. I'm not sure if we're doing reward section. I think this should be the Belief Instinct goals for both sessions. But since both sessions are probably going to be working toward the ghoul, because we're not going to play a full 3.5 to 4 hours as the book says, and it says to break it up. So we're going to do the reward session next time. So who wants to go first?
I don't mind going first.
Okay. Talia. And since this is like the first session again, you could describe your character quickly to give us a recap. It's probably been quite a few months since our other players have heard your character description.
Sure. Talia the Brash is rather large for a woman, especially of her age. She's young at 19. Sort of kind of ground her teeth, I suppose, or cut her teeth on fighting bandits in her surrounding area and serving the local militia there, where she sort of made an enemy in Carl the Uncouth and a friend in Bryn the Sweet. Carl being sort of someone who likes to use his... He's not so much big, but he's pretty mean and uses his kind of like aggressive temperament to get what he wants through force, which Talia is not a huge fan of. And then Bryn the Sweet is sort of almost like a nurse or a healer that she made good friends with, who obviously had close ties with the militia as they were doing their duties. So she basically wanders the countryside looking for bandits to drive out and sort of just increase the stability and order of the region. Not with a particularly, I guess it is a particularly noble goal, so with a bit of a noble drive to that. She's also incredibly interested and gifted in swordcraft, though, and she's kind of made it one of her bigger dreams after she sort of goes around dealing with bandits. That's kind of what she does day to day, but one of her dreams is to kind of go to an actual academy and learn how to sword fight from high-level masters of swordcraft, so that's one of her big dreams. But yeah, for now, she just kind of wanders around with this group and deals with local issues. I don't know if you want me to describe her physically more, but that's kind of her as a character.
Okay. I think that's fine. There's like a little picture that I based off of your descriptions.
Yeah.
Thing.
I let the audience use their mind's eye to...
The more important factor is your like red hair and a red ribbon, I think is the...
So my distinguishing features. Oh, and sorry, I should probably go through my belief, creed, and all that stuff, of course.
Yeah, I think you don't have a creed yet. Or wait, no,
right.
You do have a creed?
Oh, I do, for some reason. Yeah. I don't know if I put that as a placeholder for later.
I know, I think
you
gain one because you wintered, yeah.
Yeah, that's
when
right.
you winter the first time, you get one.
Yeah, that's right. So sorry, my belief it is better to act than to hesitate, which I love playing that. My creed is strength is meant to protect and not to exploit, which obviously isn't super surprising given what I just told you about Talia. My instinct is when camping, hunt for food. And for a goal, I'm thinking it should be locate the ghoul. So that was my first mission.
All right, that sounds good. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Okay.
Okay. I am Aelfwynn Altheus. My compatriots call me the Rock, due to my stern and stoic demeanor. I have a tendency to view non-elves as unreliable, though not necessarily evil. Nevertheless, under my leadership, I believe that even the most unreliable people can be coerced into doing great things.
The lowliest human?
Oh, the humans aren't the lowliest, but they're definitely not the highest. Anyway, yeah. I'm relatively tall, relatively slim, and I am 147 years old. So I'm actually quite young for an elf, and have a tendency to be more rooted in the world than is normal. Thus, my tendency to actually try and solve problems instead of just waiting for them to go away. Anyway, my belief, it used to be that I just generally believed in opposing those who harmed the natural world, but things have changed for me, and I now believe that those who pervert the natural order must be brought to heel. And it's just, things have been going a little too passively for a little too long. You can't just oppose those who would act against the natural world. You need to defeat them. So a little bit of a more edgy take on the same idea.
So it's more
And
like seek instead of like, oh, oppose them when I find them, or like if I will find them and maybe oppose them more directly a little bit.
Or more like it's not enough to just fight the good fight, right? It's only enough when you win. It's not enough to just oppose those who would pervert the natural order. It is my duty to defeat them, to see them brought low.
I see.
Yes. It's no longer enough for me to just let things just to oppose for its own sake, and if you are defeated, so be it. No, that's not enough for me anymore. My creed is that humans cannot be trusted to preserve the natural world, and that stays much the same. I cannot trust them to do what is necessary to oppose these forces. But for now, my goal is to clear the path to Smallton, the halfling village, which is currently being menaced by a ghoul. My instinct, I'm just tossing two things back and forth. Yeah, I'll say when in camp, scrounge up some supplies.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Want to get more scavenger XP, so someone's got to be a dirty scaver. Might as well be me.
Might as well be the noble elf.
Hey, you know what? Finding uses for things that are broken. Classic elf.
Did your
Nice.
mentor, because you stayed at Crossroads, give you a healer? I know I'm asking you to remember something a long time ago.
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe that's why I have it.
Okay, no, like did they give you a healer test for like a free healer test because they mentor you up until level 5 or you're level 6? Maybe you're too high a level now. Actually, never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm level 6 now,
I
right?
mentor them.
You can now have a mentor. I think is one of your level
I can
options.
be a mentor. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and last but not least, Sea Legs.
I'm gonna go by a different name. I'm gonna go by Byron.
So you're gonna
You
stop.
can choose your own nickname. You can choose your own real name.
Yeah, he's changing his real name to Byron.
That's fine.
I'm still Sea Legs, but I'm now just Byron. I'm no longer going by my former name.
That's fine. Still gonna call you Sea Legs.
Oh, you can call me that. I'll recognize it. It's my old name. I will not like that. Anyways, I appear to have been suffering from not only memory loss but also a time skip from when I was shipwrecked. My personal growth is much in line with Harry Dubois, if you know who that is. Cool. Other than that, I'm somebody who fights for right, and I believe that anything worth doing is worth doing in style, whether that's doing your best or doing good in the world. And my creed is that I believe there's no place for hatred on this crew. If you're a hater, Stop it. Get help. And
Right.
my instinct is, when in camp, take time to teach others. And I'm, oh, I should probably describe what I look like, too.
Sure.
What do I look like? I've lost my memory and also my sense of self. It's weird.
If I recall, you were
I'm a
like
tall,
possibly 7 feet tall.
yeah, I'm almost 7 feet tall, and I have a very wide brimmed hat. I make for a great silhouette for somebody in his late 30s.
Mm.
And I got like a poncho, and I believe I'm human.
Yeah. You have
I'm
a
a human man.
sailor hat. I believe you describe yourself wearing a leather smock. That's why I drew character with the brown poncho looking thing.
That's right. I'm using words interchangeably, but
Yep.
yes, that is accurate.
Yep. Cool.
Love that sailor.
Yeah, and
Doubles as a boat.
I think I remember talking to you about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we're good. Excellent. So, you are the Heartlands. There is the general direction of Smallton is to the southeast. There is 2 ways to get there. You can kind of go north toward Crowthorne and then go across the Barrows, or you could go east toward Kingsway and then head south to the.
Sean, I believe you have us still on the Smoky Wilds.
Do I? Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Are you here now? I
Nope.
believe you and Tyler are now GMs.
Oh,
You can move yourselves around.
I move myself. Well, how about that? Okay.
I can touch myself finally.
Because you guys attended the Let's Make an Adventure free session.
Right. No problem. Okay, there, I see where we are. Right.
So you guys are here. It's now springtime. I believe I'm vaguely going. It's not going to be like 3 adventures and then the summer hits or whatever. It's going to be. We're going to kind of keep track a little bit more of the time as like a different change. Most of this is very local, so unless you're going to travel very far, we don't really need to bust out the journey rules, which are different than the journey conflicts from first edition. I want to try the journey rules because we haven't tried them, but everything is pretty local.
Right. Well, what do you guys think?
And what was your goal? Sorry, by the way, Tyler.
My goal is to make and sell a map of the town.
All right. May have a hard time selling it,
Ah,
but yes.
I don't like that. I don't like those odds.
Well, if your haggler's high enough, or your what is it? Persuasion, right? Yeah, it's persuader. Persuade someone that it's really important. Remember, it's not about what people need; it's about what people want.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the whole Wolf of Wall Street thing where it's like, you need this. No, I don't. All right, can you write this down for me? No? Here's a pen. $5. Make them want it.
Sure. Okay. We'll see if you are able to do that. Just because at town making tests costs money, and we'll see if you even want to make tests.
Need money to make money.
And it's probably not the most important thing. So I'm gonna say that's kind of a bad goal in the sense that like you probably won't want to pursue it once we get down to the mechanics.
Yeah, honestly, it was my goal from last session. And I thought I'd continue because I did not fulfill it.
I feel like copying a map is good.
Well, that's what I was doing. I was copying it.
And then
Actually, let me double check
maybe
my-
just like copy the map and keep it in Crowthorne might be a great goal, or finish mapping everything we've been to.
That's a good call.
Could be good.
I'm gonna make duplicative map.
There you go. That sounds good.
There
Sounds
you
like
go.
a worthy goal. Yeah, because then it's like you have a duplicate and you could try to sell it, but honestly, I don't think you are gonna like the selling process. It's like we'll cut that goal in half, and we'll see if you can attempt that. Alright, so it's kind of like a crisp morning day. You probably have been packing. You know, horses have been stabled over the winter. You've paid it the money. I believe everyone. Is that what? Let's check the thing. I've tested some
I meant
tests.
to ask the team. Well, I have a large sack, which I think I realized last session that I can't actually carry.
Oh wait, so Corbusier failed. Talia failed, but Aelfwynn succeeded.
No, what did I fail?
Yeah, what did Byron fail?
I believe your resources test to maintain your status upon leaving.
Ah.
So you owe money.
No, it's a good thing we're about to go take on gainful employment in the service of the town.
Indeed.
That should alleviate our debts, such as we have.
Yeah, I think we'll like you're met somewhere like at the gate, and they're like telling you that you owe them some money. Yeah, basically. I don't remember if you paid them.
Oh wait, are you sure that because we're in Crossroads Keep, right? Yeah, apparently my parents own an awesome hotel. I think that's where I stayed.
Yeah, but
Unless it was on, like,
your
a spending
obstacle is
spree or
always +1 when you stay somewhere, even if
Oh,
you
okay.
get it for free and you failed because you had no money.
Oh, I see.
Or you had money, you rolled 3 dice and you failed. Oh, maybe you're insulated from that stuff.
Maybe?
Because you don't have 3 dice of resources, right? It's definitely just
No. I have 2, I think.
yeah, 2. So you used 1 to insulate yourself. Okay, you're insulated from the bad stuff. And I think Tyler much the same. +5 gear, so he rolled 7 dice. He has 2 resources and used 5 coin and insulated himself. All right, no, yeah, you guys are fine. All right, never mind. You've lost your money. You spent it all.
Excellent.
Yeah, mark a fail, and you're getting some dirty looks, but other than that, everything is good, and you're allowed to come back to town, and no bills. But you don't. It's not successful. People feel a little ripped off, but it's they'll accept your coin.
They feel how they want.
Yeah. They're not gonna go call the guards on you just yet.
Always helps.
All right. So yeah, Chris morning. You approached. You'd be like, yeah, we can go take a look at that ghoul. And what is your plan of action? What are you guys doing? You've stabled your horses. You've taken them. I guess
Great horse.
the little fox that Sea Legs has. Peeks his head out from the snow and shakes off. He's like, I think he's a winter fox or something. He's just been chilling outside and playing around. And I think your new apprentice? Question mark. Can't remember his name. Should be
Wait, who's?
You are apprentice.
That's right.
Wait, my apprentice.
Yes.
Don't you have an apprentice now?
I did. I thought, their name should be like Martin or something.
All I remember is you called him my sweet something, and you kept making different names for him.
I gave him different nicknames. I remember the
Apprentice ? No, he's definitely somewhere.
Exclamation mark.
Biome info. Oh, what?
Horses and pack animals? No, that's not him.
Oh, well, you got a familiar. Is that your apprentice?
Oh, hirelings and allies. Porters. Marcel Alfonso.
Marcel, that was his name.
Marcel.
Where is he?
He is in hirelings and allies.
Ah, okay. Marcel Alphonse, of course. Marcel.
I'm going to change his name
He's
to
here.
Apprentice.
Always helped by Master Seela.
Byron's Apprentice.
Wait, Talia, your character is a level 6 alchemist and loremaster?
Yeah.
I should give you this.
You're a level 6 alchemist? What?
I have alchemist powders in a large sack that I
Wait.
can't carry.
Wait, what? That doesn't seem right. And Loremaster?
Mm-hmm.
That does not seem right at all.
Is it high because I have an apprentice who helps me?
No, I don't think you succeeded that many alchemist tests to even get level 6.
Oh. Well, I haven't touched this. I don't know where that number came from. I didn't.
Yeah,
Those
I'll
are
just
the
look.
ones.
I'll look at the things. There's probably. I'll just watch the last video. It's probably thing. Because I think your alchemist was 4 or 5, and your loremaster was similarly 4 or 5. I think it was 4, honestly, and I think your alchemist was. I don't think you've succeeded because, like, basically you would have to have succeeded 6 tests that last level in order to bring it up to 6.
Mm.
I think maybe what happened is when I said you can train something, you would just put it up rather than marking a pass or fail on something specific.
Mm.
But I'll look it up. It's no big deal. I don't think. I'll just increase the factor as an evil GM factor, but I'll let you roll 6 because I'm confused for now. Anyways, let us do the game. Yeah. So your apprentice has been diligently writing, like, copying some of the spells from your spell book into his spell book, or trying to, at least, and trying to, like, construct his mind palace in order to cast spells and whatnot, like a true mage should over the winter. But you've since saddled your horses. I think you have a cart.
Yes, I believe so.
And there's the horse Mavis, which I believe is Aelfwynn's horse. There's Day Tripper, which I believe is Byron's horse. And I think Dizzy is Roman's horse. And then we have this weird Aelfwynn, which I think was the random name generator horse.
Who's Bartholomew?
I think that's the name of another horse.
I see. Well, whatever. As long as I know my horse.
There's I don't remember whose horse is who. Talia's riding one of them, probably.
Right.
Choose between Aelfwynn. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Aelfwynn?
Horse 1. An unnamed horse. Maybe that is Talia's horse. Is horse 1. Bartholomew. I believe that is.
I like the name Bartholomew.
Yeah, I like the name Bart too.
I think that is what's his name's horse? Claflin Elmengrad, but I don't think Matthias might not be playing, and you guys purchased it with your money, so you know there's a horse here and he just went missing, so you can take Bartholomew for now or forever.
Or he's got other shit that he's doing. It doesn't really matter.
He could take the other weird horse name.
Right,
there's plenty of horses to go around.
I don't think there's enough horses.
One of these horses that you have has a cart on it, and yeah, continue. I just wanted to set
I
the.
think
the
I'm gonna
start.
put my large sack
Oh,
in the
baby.
cart.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know where the cart
Where is our cart? Yeah.
Is it in
This
base
is-
camp? It is not base camp. Is it dropped on ground? Dropped on ground. In base
Oh wait,
camp.
we do it. Yeah, it's in base camp. It's in base camp.
Is it? Oh, on
Yep.
cart. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna edit this and then make the caches in bold. I think bold. Bold. Bold.
Because there's no way for me to
No, I'm
like have my
bolding
great sword.
and what? Sorry.
Oh, I'm just wondering. There's no way for me to have my great sword. I'm even looking at it. I don't know how I carry it. But like attached to my body without me holding it in my hands, right?
In your hands. Yeah.
Okay.
Too big.
Mm-hmm.
You can carry like one hand.
Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering if there's ever a way for me to like use my hands but not have to drop it.
You can use one hand. You can probably tie it to your person, but you wouldn't be able to like use it in a fight. In place of like a backpack, use like a rope to tie it to yourself or something. But it would be too large to like disentangle and then use in a fight, probably.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to do that, you could probably just put it also on the cart.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you
Lots of space on the cart.
you got in a fight, just pick it up. Alternatively,
also fight
you
with
could
my
hire
pistol.
a porter to carry it for you, and then
I mean, we got an extra horse and a cart, so we probably don't need to be hiring porters.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but it
We
mean
paid
like
for the
going
horse,
into
so
a
we may as well use
dungeon.
that. That's true. That's true. The horse won't go into the dungeon, but I mean, we can just tie it up outside. Anyway, as for getting to Smallton, let's get back on track here. I feel like maybe navigating via the barrows is like more dangerous, but might be more useful, given that we know that's where the ghoul came from. Nobody else knows that, but we do. So we may as well use that information to our advantage.
All right. So here's a question.
Okay.
Are you now going to Smallton, or are you going the way of Smallton looking for the ghoul?
I feel like that one, right?
I don't know. That's a good question. Do we want to?
Are you tracking
No.
the ghoul, or are you heading to Smallton just to like see if there
Yeah,
is
that's
a
the
problem?
thing. Like, I was wondering, like, it might be better to just go to Smallton and then figure out what's going on there, and then decide whether or not we need to go hunt down the ghoul or what's going on, right? Because we can hunt down the ghoul and drive it off, but that may not.
I see. You're playing your mercenary trait.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
let's go get the job again from Smallton, because
the
guy said he could.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we should see what they like. Maybe that's not their real problem, right? We don't know. We're just assuming that's what their problem is because there is one, and we know it's a problem, but it might not be the problem. You know what I mean?
And here's the second question: would you then, like, if you saw a problem on your way to Smallton, would you ignore it and actively try to like just navigate to Smallton effectively, or would you just like seek out a problem if it stumbled upon you?
I mean, I'm no hero. So
like say you found the ghoul in the middle of the road. Would you go around and then go to Smallton and be like, do you have a ghoul problem? If so, how much money? or would you fight that, or like
no? That's a little. Oh, that's a bridge too far. I mean, like, we're already like, we already know that, like, at least in Crossroads Keep, we're gonna get paid if we drive off the ghoul. So that's a sure thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's no sense in being greedy to try and get double paid if it's, you know what I mean? Like, if there is some other issue in Smallton and they're like, what ghoul? I don't know what you're talking about. Then we're going to regret avoiding it, right? We would have been better to deal with it when we had the chance.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the compromise I would strike.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like you're following the way for the barrows. Let me just load up my notes that I made for this.
Talia definitely votes to track the ghoul if possible.
I'm just gonna see if you even need to. Other thing I needed to load. File load. Open.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna message you something, Sean.
On Discord?
Sure.
Or do you just message me in the chat on
We'll do,
you can whisper it to me on Whispered's DM. I'll see. Is it just like a question, or you just want to ask a
no, it's
question?
just a question.
You guys ask me a question, okay.
Just
where is my thing? Browse. Where did I put it? It's in the computer. How do I access it? Open. Probably I'm gonna guess in my documents or in my RPG. Let's first. Sorry. Oh, there we go. There we go.
is this the second edition one I have? Oh, it must be.
All right.
Oh, it is.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah, never mind. I think I answered my own question.
I'm just reading what this is. Excellent. Okay. So you head toward there. You follow the signs into you south. I can open the map. Follow the signs. It says Barrows Keep East, and via the description from the thing that if you head through the barrows, you can get to the way. But as you head into the barrows, the path kind of like there's no clear path. Like not a lot of merchants head this way. So you will need to make a Pathfinder test in order to get from the barrows to Smallton. Because that's what you guys were doing. And it's a good idea to get to the barrows, but it's, from the barrows to Smallton, it's a couple hours. Who's willing to take the lead and make this Pathfinder test?
I will do it, as is my wont.
And I'll assist.
My keen eyes pick a path through the dense wood.
All right.
I'm gonna be just like clearing brush with my greatsword and essentially keeping my nose out for the foul stench of the barrows.
Excellent.
As I look around, I'm basically looking for danger while he kind of looks. I'm assuming for the path or the way forward.
Yeah, I think you're helping with Scout. You have Scout?
I don't. Sorry, I guess I'm helping with Pathfinder. So maybe I'm more so sweeping around him then. As he goes forward, I'm checking the flanks. Oops. And then looking for tracks there.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, so destination nearby. Say overgrown or washed out. That sounds about right. Ob 4.
Okay. Sorry. Pathfinder, help. Before.
Yeah. Tyler, or I was gonna say Tyler's. Are you good help? Maybe. But that's too late. You rolled 3 versus Ob 4 with a 6.
Yeah.
You're feeling lucky.
So just to reiterate, what you could do is you could spend a fate to reroll that 6. You could spend
Yeah.
a fate to roll one of your failed if you have a appropriate wise. And you could spend a persona to reroll all your failed dice or the appropriate wise, or you can just accept the failure, I guess.
Yes. I will spend a fate to reroll that 6.
Okay. Just letting you know that you could
Yeah.
do both things. Like you could spend a fate to reroll
That's true.
on a wise, and then after, if you roll a 6 again, or like if you failed, you can then spend a fate to roll that 6.
Sorry, yeah. So I can. Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm just looking at your wises. You have a wise
I was
called
gonna say
Lost
I was gonna
Wise.
use Lost Wise. That's the other thing. I just didn't. Yeah,
Oh,
I should
yeah.
do that. I should
And-
spend a fate and use that. I was just thinking like, oh, I'll just spend a fate and then but I was like, I can just use my wise, so I'll do that. I will. What's it called when you spend a fate on a wise?
I believe
It's
it is, of course. You just say, of course, and then you
Of
spend the
course.
fate.
Exactly. That's what I'm gonna do.
It's deeper understanding. You say, of course, when you spend a persona, and then to say what you missed. But when you spend a fate, you don't need to say that.
You don't need to say
anything. You just need to spend the fate and then reroll one die.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when it's persona, when you need to like iterate what you've missed and why you have a deeper understanding of the situation now.
Oh, hold on. Let me just look this up in the book so I know what the. Of course, 77. Right, deeper understanding. Oh, you say aha.
Oh, okay.
You understand everything now. Aha! I understand everything now. We are navigating to a halfling village, and so the blazes and marks on the trees are lower than they would normally be due to their small stature.
Mm.
All right, so now I'll spend the fate and I'll reroll it.
Oh, that's skulking.
Failed. So I just reroll one of the failed dice, right? Yeah. I'll just roll 1d6. Hey, we got there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. So you've navigated.
Good thing you're so good at being lost.
The Smallton, and when you get
Yeah.
there,
So as soon as I cast my eyes lower, I begin to see the blazes and all of the little markings on the trees that the halflings use to navigate their way through.
Mm.
not on the GM, it's on the object. What? Oh, okay. Why is this? Oh, it's now blue. Blue. Now. Oh no. Gone. There we go. Smallton. Make it slightly bigger. There we go. It's a little town. All right.
Hey.
You got to Smallton. It's a town, but the gates are closed. They're closed for business. And you get there, you are met with a halfling sheriff named. He introduces himself. He first questions you like, who are you? Why are you here? And then he, if you give him an answer that he is happy with, he'll introduce himself. What answer do you give him?
We come bearing news from Crossroads Keep. Your Normal shipments have not reached the town, and we have been asked to inquire as to the reason.
Yeah. Okay, and so he introduces himself that he is sheriff. Sheriff. Spelled sheriff. Of Smallton. Sheriff Fiddleman Eastmaker of Smallton. He is a halfling, though not all of the people in Smallton are halflings. A good, 60 to 70% of people of Smallton are halflings. The rest are, there's some humans. There's like a couple of dwarves. It's not a very big community, quite small. Yeah, it's Smallton, and but it does have like a kind of like a like a short wall that's probably like 6 feet tall ish, with spikes on the end top, like wood spikes. And he says, yeah,
Hard enough.
We've been having troubles. The farms have not sent their goods in. Not all the farms are in this town. There's the neighboring farms. We didn't get the grain. We suspect bandits, but there's been. And he kind of like goes a little like trails off, and he's like he kind of goes a little pale, and he says, "Terrible." And he's like, he kind of chokes up a little, and he's like, "This is kind of too hard to talk about." But let's just say it's not a scene you wish to say or repeat.
What?
He basically is saying that there's like you get the understanding that he's getting at is that he's seen some sort of gruesome thing that he doesn't really want to say at one of the farms.
I see.
Sounds like murder.
Would you be willing to point us in the direction of this disturbance?
He says, yeah, and he says if you can take care of it, he is willing to give you a total of 3 copper and 2 wheels of cheese. And he points to like the farms to the north a little bit, like off the path, like a small thing. He's like, there's that's like the farm, kind of the furthest farm is where it is. That's what was where that happening. But there's been some trouble all about, so the farmers are getting a little squirrely.
I see. Justifiably so.
He says, I haven't been out and about. I've been trying to maintain order in the town and also keep it closed.
I see.
For the safety of the town. And he's like, for the safety of the town, for like surely.
Naturally. Well, your vigilance is appreciated, Sheriff. All right. You heard the man. Let's go look at a corpse.
Awesome.
Or some other
excited
such
to finally see action.
or some other such untold evil thing.
All right.
He raises a great sword and pushes forward.
Yeah, you like head down. He said is the farm at the end of the path, and we walked there, and you passed a couple of farms, maybe like 4 farms, and it was probably like an hour or 2 horse ride. And you get to the farm at the end of the path, and there, it just looks very pastoral, like a farm. There's no one in the field. There's no one anywhere.
Like,
yeah, it's
really
just like
nobody?
a
Not even at the farmhouse?
there's a farmhouse. There's like a well. There's like, you know, like a little barn. But there's
What's in the well?
There's no animals. There's a bit of water.
Okay.
Is there a body?
No.
Always check the well
You can't
for
turn from this, man.
corpses. That's my new instinct. All right. Let's have a look in the farmhouse, I guess. No time like the present.
All right, you get there, and you know it's not a murder scene, but there is like this kind of like deep red staining to the wood and like spots around the door. There's no door, like the door frame looks like it's like been like beaten off its hinge, like the latch or whatever like came loose. Some of the one of the windows is broken. There's definitely looks like a lot of blood. Looks like something went down here.
That's exciting.
What do you do? Do you specifically look for something, or do you just coming to
There's
see?
a trail of blood?
No, there's like stains of blood. Like obviously they're not going to just leave a body here. It's been dealt with. It looks like.
Okay.
This looks kind of old.
Right.
At least like probably maybe even like months old. It could have been before winter. You're not 100%.
Talia's gonna look to see. So this area is a farmland, right?
Yeah.
And the area that the ghoul's presumably in, is it kind of? Does it have different terrain, or is it kind of like mushy or swampy?
No. I don't know if were you there when they fought the ghouls?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think.
Okay, yeah. The ghoul was from the barrows that you walked through, which is essentially like hilly, and where like I think I'm not 100% sure if the word barrow means this, but in my world it does, and in my mind it does. But essentially it's just like little like tombs. Think those like weird tombs that you find in Skyrim, where there's like a
barrows.
Yeah, like a barrow. You know, like it's like a big stone thing. You walk in, the big door that you have to like shoulder aside. One was open and clawed out from the inside, and they explored it. And they fought a ghoul in there, and they ran to Crossroads Keep after killing one of them. And the other ghoul chased him, and then there's just a ghoul loose in the farm side. I'm sure your friends filled you in along the hours long journey here. It's probably like getting toward mid evening, say like 4-ish.
Okay. I mean, I guess technically we don't actually have confirmation. Like, we're obviously suspecting that the ghoul was at work here, but we don't have confirmation. So, Talia's just gonna look around to see if she can find any evidence of like scratch marks or things that would be suggestive of a ghoul, rather than just like, you know, an animal attack or murder or something like that.
Right.
I mean, you find scratch marks easily. That's a good idea to look around, but I don't think you have Hunter.
Yes, I do. Actually.
Okay, let's roll Hunter to see if you can identify them as ghoul, or do you press further? Do you find scratch marks? Do you sit there and like try to determine if they're ghoul or animal?
Yeah, no, I'll try and see if I can determine like how many fingers and like what the pattern is. If it's like a paw or if it's like a hand.
Sure. I think it's gonna be a versus test. Let me look up here. I have not prepared this very well.
Okay.
My notes have notes, but they don't page reference things. But that's fine. I have a physical book that I like looking through, and that's my favorite. And I have these fancy like ribbons that mark things that I have marked out, which makes everything a lot easier. I have prepared this ahead of time, and I have not even realized it. Okay, yeah. So this is going to be, like a versus 4.
I can help, right?
Yeah. It's
Yes,
not
okay.
using an instinct. It's, by the way, this is the second turn on the grind.
Yes.
Which I have. One sec. Have stolen. Copy. Not stolen, but rather, a much more prominent YouTuber personality has made a fancy grind thing. There we go. Bam.
Nice.
It's the grind. I have colored it from gray to match
cool.
color.
Nice.
Now got turn 2.
Okay. All right. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to help with Survivalist. I know, Sean, you mentioned you weren't sure how old these marks are, but due to my knowledge of weather patterns and how long things take to wash out and wear away, I am able to determine with some more precision the date and the date range that this attack would have taken place.
I like that. That is definitely helpful.
And I will help with Hunter.
Excellent.
I will be pantomiming what I think did this, and then try and reenact each swipe that we see on the ground.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's helpful. If you're like, this one's 3, and like this one's 4, and like it was this big. I think that would be very helpful. All right,
I'm doing the Boondock Saints thing.
Sure. Talia, do you know how to make rolls with the new book?
I think so. I'm tempted to either use a trait or a persona point here as well. Although the way I'm thinking of using a trait, I'm not sure if it's valid or not.
Yeah. You discuss. And I'm gonna go to the washroom because I realized I need to go really badly.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so what I was thinking of was using Heart of Battle, because Talia's really itching for a fight after being in town for so long. And so she's like very invested in figuring out if these are like gold tracks and if she can finally just like seal the deal and we can stop kind of the way she sees it is right now we're kind of like putzing around following loose ends, but she just wants to go straight for the throat and like go for the ghoul. So she's like very invested in figuring out that these are ghoul tracks. So she's like putting an extra level of precision into it. So it's gonna have to be I actually kind of like think that's not as bad as I thought it was now. I thought it was like, is this like loose? But
I mean, if it's driving you to if that's what's driving you to do better / worse at a task, then that's fine. If that's why you're doing this, because you want to fight it really bad, then, I could see that being okay. That reminds me, I forgot. I should be. I haven't even looked at my traits. I've almost forgotten what they were.
I am back.
Okay. So we discussed it, and actually, I think it's not as far-fetched as I thought it was.
What were we gonna use?
Heart of Battle.
Heart of Battle.
So, yeah. So basically, Talia is really the way she sees it. This is kind of futzing around, and she just wants to go for the throat. She gets very kind of annoyed by like extra things or wasting time. So she's very invested in figuring out if this is like actually gold tracks, so we can essentially stop like walking around and we can just go look for the ghoul.
Wait. So are you using it against yourself or for yourself? Because I'm a
for
little
myself.
For yourself. Okay.
Sorry, yeah. So she's annoyed at what we're doing, but she's very like focused right now and like she's just putting a lot of energy into figuring out if these are ghoul marks. Because she wants to stop like looking around and just like be like, yes, it's a ghoul. Let's go look for the ghoul. So she's just like very invested in figuring this out.
Okay. Yeah, that is I think you can use Heart of Battle, and I think a little bit also is it's like what like a fight looks like too. Like you've
That's true. That's another good way of putting it. Yeah.
You've been in many fights, and so you're able to be like, oh, this definitely wasn't like because your character you're trying to determine whether or not it is. But I'm going to say it is allowed, and it's because it isn't just like a fight between an animal, but but your character doesn't know that. But let's roll and see if your character finds that out or not.
Yeah, for sure. So you said it's obstacle.
It's versus 4. It's not independent. It's a versus test.
Oh, thank you.
And it's 4.
Help or aid.
I think you're getting 2 helps, and you are using a trait for self.
Do I want to? How hard do I want to go on this? Do I want to spend a persona point?
I mean, you're rolling 7 and they're rolling 4. You're not trying to get a target of 4.
I'm not trying to beat 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I forgot that's how that works. What was the question I was going to ask? I don't think I have one. Okay, I'll just roll. Hey, wow, that's a lot of 6s.
Yeah, it's definitely a ghoul.
Okay. Well,
Talia's excited. She slams her greatsword on like the table beside her. It's a ghoul.
It's
Finally!
a ghoul, and I guess you're able to determine that it's one ghoul. And from the looks of it, it never became 2 ghouls, if you catch my drift. It's not.
Okay, yeah. Oh, jeez.
It like ate the person, and the person died, and it left, and then like the people came and like dealt with it. You probably see like the drag marks out, and they probably burned it or something.
Yeah.
Maybe you even find it, like you go out and you find like a patch of ground where there was a funeral pyre. It is clear to you what happened here.
Okay. Yeah, Talia. I mean, Talia obviously doesn't treat the situation with brevity, but she's visibly excited that she's figured out it's a ghoul. We can stop looking, or like try to figure this out.
Yeah,
she's like, okay, it's a ghoul.
It is in the area. Yeah, you've, and because of the help, I don't know if the help dice succeeded. Yeah, it happened like before the winter. Or like maybe partway through the winter. That's why like everyone was inside.
Okay.
And
so this is technically a while ago then. Right?
Yeah, it was a while ago. But I don't know. You winter times are very, very harsh with multiple feet of snow. Maybe the ghoul froze and thawed out. Is a thought that could have happened. That occurred to your character.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, Talia's proud. She turns to Aelfwynn and Byron and says, "Okay, I think we can kind of like open and shut this. I think it's pretty clear. I think a ghoul is the source of both of our issues here and back in Crossroads. So, what do you guys say? Let's track this thing down." And she kind of like smiles at you both expectantly. Also, sorry, Sean. I realized the question I was going to ask was Hunter. This is the last pass I need to level it up. So how does that work again?
You just go like this, and then you click the button.
Okay. I don't have to like go to town or something?
Huh?
Nope.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it just levels up immediately. You don't need to do anything special.
Okay.
When you get enough to level up your character, you have to go to town.
Your character level needs to go to town, but skill levels just go up whenever they're available.
Yeah, they go up. They can technically go up mid-conflict. If you are during a conflict and you get that one thing on fighter that you needed, check. And then you don't need to mark it anymore.
And then can you then earn subsequent checks? Or no, it's still one check per conflict.
It's only one check per conflict, but if you just needed that one on that one skill, you could level it up mid-conflict and then
get that extra bonus.
The new fight. Yeah, to fight.
That's awesome.
The rest. All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you find out that it's a ghoul. It's one ghoul. As far as here is concerned, it didn't multiply. Definitely multiple dead. And they burned the bodies. Looks like either it didn't get into the animals in the barn as far as you could tell if you were like checking the barn. Which I assume if you're this represents like a few hours of work and sleuthing.
Okay.
And you're like looking around the farm.
Right.
Some of the goods and stuff, like there's obviously was a table there and it's been gone and it doesn't look like it was splintered, so one of the family members probably took it at some point. One of the more like there's no silverware in the drawers and stuff like that. I don't know if anyone's checking. But
no.
it is
we're looking around.
It is a bear farm. Obviously they need to divvy up the land, but they haven't gotten to it because of a loose school in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
And it's been months, but like it's that's why they've shut down basically travel.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it clearly was here. The question is, where is it now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, can we probably should just start looking in between here and Crossroads, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is the last place we know it was, even if it wasn't here particularly recently. But I mean, I don't know. Do ghouls? I don't know anything about like the physiology and physiognomy of ghouls. Do they like need to eat flesh to like sustain themselves? Are they entirely like risen by necromantic magic and they just do it as part of their evil will? I don't know these things.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, who we should turn to and ask. It's like Talia, as Aelfwynn and Talia discussing this, she like turns to Byron, and it's kind of like raises her eyebrow, like, Byron.
What?
Do ghouls need to eat flesh? What's the deal with ghouls?
I avoid them personally.
Yeah,
Fair.
but like, she kind of looks at you expectantly, like, tell me more about ghouls.
I would love to tell you more about ghouls. I think I can do.
I know your Loremaster is technically level 6, which I know it's not supposed to be. But...
I have since looked up the whilst you were talking, the YouTube video, and I haven't quite finished it, but it looks like the last I've seen of Tyler's skills, his skills were a bit different. So let's just load. He had 4 in Alchemist. Hold on a sec. Wait.
I can edit these. So 4 in Alchemist.
Hold on a sec. That's Talia. I gotta go back. I think this is where we're like changing stuff. This is like at the very end. Okay, yeah, this is where I want to be. I just need to look at Corbusier. That's you're making the roll. Go back a little bit more. Pause. All right. You had 4 in Alchemist with no pass or fails. 4 in Arcanist, 0 armor, Cartographer 3, no pass or fails, Criminal 4, Loremaster 3 with 1 fail.
Okay.
And let me look at the other skills here quickly. Persuader, but 2 passes. You only need 1 fail. Why was this so changed? I do not know.
I have not seen this since we last played.
You made a theologian test at one point, apparently. You definitely had a 1 pass in Sailor, and you tried to learn Enchanter. Yeah, I think it now matches the documents, the official last viewing of your character.
You know what?
I'm going to take the blame. I don't know. I honestly don't remember if I've changed it on accident or not. So I've probably have been in the character sheets looking at them. So I'm gonna take the blame on this one. All right. Okay.
Wait, is he exhausted right now?
I am.
He is exhausted.
Oh. Damn.
I feel like shit.
So you may not use the instincts for free. All right, so Loremaster check. Yeah. What do you describe what you're doing first? What are you doing?
I
So
am
it
telling
seems more like Scholar, but
It could be
Oh, yeah,
Scholar.
sorry.
It could
Maybe it is
be.
Scholar.
It could be Loremaster. Depends what he is consulting. What are you doing?
I'm telling them all I know about Ghouls.
All right, yeah, but where do you know, like,
What would you like to know, Talia, about Ghouls?
how do I ask this question? I have to
Well,
ask a question of you. Do you consult a book on Ghouls that you may or may not own? Probably haven't owned it, but I guess you may have. Not sure if you have a book on like encyclopedia. I think the thing is you do have an encyclopedia of things, of monsters and whatnot, but I'm not sure if you have that here. If you were consulting it, you would probably could do a scholar test quickly. But if you aren't, and you're just knowing things, maybe you're consulting your body of knowledge.
I am consulting myself.
Yourself? Okay, that kind of sounds like Loremaster.
In my backpack, I have like 6 spell books.
yeah, well, Loremaster is more like you're like doing magical research, but not really. I
No,
guess.
there's like
No.
folk tales and stuff. I believe is a Loremaster test. I believe,
Yeah, like-
or is that
Scholar
Scholar?
Scholar is more like you're like looking at, it's like you're doing research, or you're doing like history, or you're doing like, you know, like you're reading and writing. That's all Scholar. Whereas Loremaster is like generally more explicitly magical. It seems, or it seems.
Yeah, well, I think. Well,
But
although
like
Yeah,
if you're,
I kind of-
researching like a magical beast, like a ghoul presumably is, then you could attack it from that angle. But it's up to you as the person making the check to decide how you're attacking this, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, Lordmaster says because scholar seems to be more like literally scholarly activities, like the profession of being a scholar. Whereas Loremaster, it seems like keepers of arcane knowledge and deep mysteries. So for me,
Right.
I mean,
Like-
it's a pretty open interpretation, but
yeah. Well,
But again, like Scholar is just like research more generally, right? Like if you consult an encyclopedia, then that's doing Scholar. It just
yeah,
is,
no, I agree.
If you're consulting, like, if you're like researching a thing in like a library, that's could easily be either or.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
Pretty,
I think the way that Tyler is saying that he's consulting himself, that's Loremaster, and I think not. I mean, it's is a ghoul magical phenomena. No, it's definitely a curse. Let's go obtuse.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Who wants to help me recollect? Who wants to tell me a cool time they happened?
I don't think I can because Talia does not know much about any of this stuff. But I was actually thinking, now that I'm looking at your skill sheets, maybe I should have asked Aelfwynn. So I guess Aelfwynn can actually, you could assist and spend a fate to get an advance without any negatives, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
You could spend a fate to help and get an advance without any negatives, and then you could kind of, because you obviously have a strong Loremaster Scholar body of knowledge yourself as an elf.
I was gonna say, sorry. Was this Scholar, or was it ended up being Loremaster?
It's Loremaster.
Okay.
You can help with Arcanist, Theologian, or Loremaster. As long as it's in the realm. I would say more along the lines of a Theologian than Loremaster or Arcanist because of its undead nature. But if you have Loremaster, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't have Theologian or Arcanist, but I do have Loremaster, and so I will help. Even though I'm not an expert on the subject, I do know that ghouls, given if their nature has it, most undead things have their nature and roots in some type of ancient curse, and like all things ancient, my people have many such stories that I can draw on to inform and his research or his recollections.
Failed.
No,
it's
you
a
meant
success, isn't
you
it?
meant the success. That's
We should have hired. I want it to be higher. I want to do my best, damn it.
You did just fine. Now you can level up your Loremaster.
I'm doing it.
We'll make an encyclopedia of you yet.
I'm already an encyclopedia of things no one wants to know about.
We'll make you both that and other things.
Can you make me a woman? Gotta get in that bow like in Dark Souls.
All right. Yeah. I mean, what do you know about ghouls? They're definitely cursed. They're you kind of want to consult and about what they do. They definitely eat dead things, so they usually kill them and then eat the dead. They do like hunting living things though too. They're definitely they're not above eating them. You have a fairy tale thing that you were saying, like that they're definitely they're definitely like definitely undead, so they're not like they can't be subject to spells, some of the spells, and right. Yeah, if it's a solitary ghoul and he makes more ghouls, he might become more powerful. And the classic paralyzing of ghouls, they can possibly touch people and paralyze them. But maybe that like corroborates Talia's like understanding of what happened, is the ghoul like smashed in, scratched a bunch, and like the struggle was over quickly, but like seemingly too quickly. And then it obviously just like, probably from the footprints, in the bloody footprints or something, that you're like, the ghoul just like ran amok essentially. And right. There was no like strong, like once in the blood, there was no strong, like someone got attacked by the ghoul and like ran away essentially. That didn't happen. Yeah.
Guys, as long as we don't die, we're okay. And don't get killed either.
Things die when they are killed.
Exactly.
That's usually how that goes, yes. But I think because one of the questions Aelfwynn was asking Byron was like, do they need to eat flesh?
Yeah, they need to eat the flesh of dead things or living things.
Okay.
Seems a bit both. They subsist on eating dead if living isn't around, so that's why they can like live in essentially like graveyards and stuff for like long periods of time without any like knowledge of them be like there, essentially.
Explains why they hang out in barrows, I guess.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
All right.
It's a little unsure on how they make ghouls. You're not sure.
Right.
And we'll give you this. Elves are immune to their paralyze.
Oh, nice. Looks like you're going to lead the charge there, Aelfwynn.
Sorry, what did you say?
Elves are immune to their paralyzing touch. I think I told you that they paralyze.
Right, yes. I actually, that might have been relevant in the past. Anyway, okay. Well, that gives me an idea on how we might get this ghoul over here. Or we might be able to figure out, how to get this ghoul to, show itself.
Yeah.
If it prefers dead flesh, well, let's get some.
Kill me.
Talia starts smiling. She likes this plan.
Yes.
Not killing Byron. The idea of getting dead flesh.
No, not Byron. Marcel, of course. Marcel, come here.
What?
Well, Marcel, you don't have to do this.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Obviously.
The horror slowly recedes from Talia's face.
A deer or some such beast.
Too strong. It's too deadpan.
We slaughter it and we leave it out in a field so the ghoul must expose itself, and we secret ourselves away nearby. And when it goes to gorge itself, we attack. Simple as.
That sounds like a really good idea. The only question I have is, like, where do we know the ghouls even nearby, or is it did it go back to the barrows? Presumably, if it's killing things, there's no food left there. But
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, I mean, it might not be like close, but it probably isn't like too far, right? Otherwise, you know,
Okay.
they wouldn't see the need to, you know,
Oh, to always like
to like
hiding in
keep
their
the
homes.
doors locked and everyone be hiding indoors, right? They must have seen it around.
They could also just be
Besides, like
afraid.
the
But
stench of dead flesh might
yeah,
do the
I
trick,
mean,
right?
exactly. It's not a bad idea. Talia approves.
It much prefers to hunt the living. I think is a fact that I said out loud. And just to reiterate that you know that fact. But it will kill and eat dead flesh. It likes dead flesh, but it prefers to hunt living things.
Okay.
You look around and you realize that you're like on the last house on the like by like essentially like the last house on the field, and like if you look toward the Smallton, there's a few farmhouses all the way to Smallton, and like on this road. But you can like you're kind of nearish to like the Kingsway also. You're pretty far like north.
Right. All right. Yeah. No, that was my mistake. I misheard you. I thought it was the other way around. Right. Okay. Well, in that case, given that the ghouls will hunt rather
like
than
they only eat dead things, but they like freshly
to
dead
kill,
things.
they like to kill what they eat before they eat. Yes, I
Yeah.
understand. Okay. In that case, then my strategy is less good because it will not accomplish our goal. But I mean, we should, in that case, probably investigate the other farmhouses and see if they have, experienced any like livestock being harried or devoured and such type things.
Oh, that's a good point. We could
Because
even leave one of the
we'll
barns
be
open.
Hmm?
Well, Talia kind of like raises her eyebrow. What if we leave one of the barns open and instead of using dead bait, we use live bait?
I
Oh.
feel like we would struggle to have a farmer allow that, but
Wasn't there a bunch of animals here that were safe and are still in
No.
the farm
They
still?
have
they
taken
were.
them. They were
They
here and they
probably
were safe. But whoever's related to this, probably halfling. You're not 100% sure. Like some of like the like there's like a normal sized table, but there's bar stools, so it's like a halfling could sit there. There's like or is it like just the style of furniture is I guess complacent that like both or not complacent but like
Implicit. No, I know what you mean.
allowing of both like tall folk and small folk to sit in them
Okay.
comfortably. As you're talking, you're developing a plan. You like a group of like people are walking like along the the Kingsway, which is not like it's like maybe a field, maybe 2 fields away, which was probably like I don't know how long that would be. Not like really large fields. So probably maybe like 20 minutes away. They like spot you and they wave at you and they're coming from the Kingsway main road. And so they're like hopping like a wire fence or whatever kind of fences they have, and they're making their way through the field.
All right. Well, I stay still and mark their approach.
Yeah, there's a group of 5 looking rough figures that are escorting a much more well-to-do looking gentleman with a large sack, and he kind of not like old, more like semi-nobility, and like like fine looking clothing. And he comes at you and he like waves you down. He like looks you up and down and he says, Yes, I'm here to collect taxes. You think he looks at you? Own this place?
No, can't say we do.
And he looks at you and he says, "Well, I need to collect taxes, and these places people haven't been paying. You're here. You are on the lands." And he kind of like, trails off like, you know what to do, sort of thing.
Like,
How many people is this guy with?
There's
You're
5
here,
of them,
you're-
so there's a total of 6 people to your 3. He outnumbers you by 2.
like, you're here and you're on the land, and you don't hear me demanding things of you.
Are you saying that to him?
Yes,
What's-
this is why in the world does this money grubbing human deserve my respect?
And
Sorry, character.
he looks you up and down, and he says, "Well, this land is owned and pays fealty to Lord, such and such." He is I don't know, random name.
Lord Bupkiss.
What?
Lord Bupkiss. He's
Uh,
getting nothing.
Lord Bubkus. Is that you say that to him?
I'm saying it to him. He's getting nothing.
And he's like, how dare you? And he
You're at
says, insult the Lord of these lands. That's a criminal offense.
No, it's not.
I wanted, and he's just like, yeah, it is. Like, do you own the, do you pay homage to this Lord? Because you would
Takes one
never
to know
insult him. And then he says, I was going to accept just, this amount. It was like 1 dice worth of treasure to, bribe him away.
Yeah.
To make him not your problem. But because of this, I want a horse. Give me one of your horses, and I will.
Yeah, so Talia is starting to get triggered. She's remembering about the bandits and the thugs who would take things from people. So she's like,
It's not a very good lord if you're just going around asking.
yeah.
Kind of
So-
seems needy. Kind of seems desperate.
So presumably,
He's a lord and not just a baron.
what's that?
I'm soliloquizing out loud to the tiny merchant who
Oh,
is.
you're talking to character. Oh, okay.
And he's
Yeah.
like, parents are lords, you twit.
So
No, like
presumably,
that
this land
He's
belongs to
he
the
kind of
town.
like scoffs at you, and he like marks you for like sailor, like because you're wearing a sailor's hat, and he says, learn some manners. Not everything's a sailboat. You can speak properly in front of your betters.
I don't see any.
And he's gonna
Alright.
get mad at this.
Yeah.
So Talia, you say you're getting mad too? What are you gonna
No,
do?
well, she's not getting. Well, maybe she's getting mad. She's getting triggered because she's remembering, kind of just the thugs and the bandits from before. So she's gonna say through gritted teeth, like, this land presumably belongs to the family. If you wish to collect taxes, you must contact them. But I suggest you move along.
And I don't know. I feel like that's a persuasion check.
Or can I make
Or
a manipulator to threaten?
Yeah. I was gonna say or like that.
Yeah. It's definitely a threat.
You okay? Let's do this. Let's stat this person out. I didn't really stat them out. No, that they are a beast with 2 legs.
A beast with 2 legs.
It's a chapter title on 201 of the book, the Dungeoneer book.
Beast with 2 legs.
For those people wanting to learn what I do, I'm just looking at the titles of the thing here to find the appropriate tax collector.
I should probably just point out that according to Twitch, we're still playing Project Zombie.
Oh yeah.
Alright.
Well,
Project Zimbabwe.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Project Sands of
I don't want
Twilight.
to I don't want to take time to fix that. It could take
No,
up
that's
to
fine.
upwards of 5 minutes, so we don't have. As soon as you say you want to leave soonish.
Yeah, I can leave in about 5.
Yeah, so we're gonna. Yeah. Well, I mean, sure. He'll have skill. It's gonna be a versus test for 3.
For what, sorry?
Because he's trying to manipulate her person and threaten him.
Threaten him.
Right, well,
He is wearing fancy clothing, which gives him precedence +1. So,
Ooh.
if he beats you by +1, but it doesn't matter, I don't think. You can persuade him and threaten him as such. Yeah. So, is anyone else saying anything? Are you gonna say those things were manipulated?
sorry, no. I'm gonna help if I can. Also with manipulator.
Yeah, it's up to Talia to accept help, but yes.
Yeah, she's not opposed to having Aelfwynn come and like stand beside her and act imposing.
I can help too.
Given that I have generally had a more calm demeanor throughout this, and I'm one of the few people not getting heated, I'll try and use this impression that I am the voice of reason to calmly point out that, of course, all of us are humble servants of the High Lord Muckamuck, who we are talking about. And of course, we are in his lands doing service to his good people. And as such, surely we can be excused from any such tax or tithe that would normally be owed to such a grand gentleman.
Okay, yep, I mean, that's great. That's great help.
As I spit the venom out of my mouth, oh god, I'm complimenting a human noble.
I know. If you started with that, I know it's out of your character. Maybe that would have been enough to just convince him on his ways. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna
this. I like this.
It's better to, it's always more fun to try and wriggle your way out of trouble than avoid it in the first place. Yeah. I was just enjoying watching these guys insult each other.
Yeah. So you can help Tyler before I guess you have to leave. I think we'll probably end and we'll just be part 1 of 2 things.
Yeah. I'm gonna help just by as Aelfwynn is standing there and making very eloquent, very well-made points. I'm just going to stand disrespectfully. Generally, just bad breath in his direction.
Okay.
And I will point at him. I feel like I can use Persuader or Criminal. Can I use Criminal?
Definitely not Criminal. Do you have Manipulator?
I have Persuader. I don't have Manipulator because I'm a good sailor.
You definitely have to be good. You can't intimidate. I would say that could have been Manipulator in a sense, that if you were acting threateningly at key points, but you definitely have to say something along the lines of appease his anger and escape his wrath.
All right, I'm gonna say sorry, Lord Man. My lord died of ligma.
Any like nods sagely.
Damn it! You
Like,
knew the trick.
yes, the
Yeah, it's
ligma that's
ligma
befalling many
curse.
many a lords lately.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Uh,
that is Bolfa though.
sure, yeah, an apology, however hastily given, will act as help.
Yeah. So yeah, Talia's gonna whip out her greatsword and say that way, and point along the road. So sorry, it's versus.
Yeah, 3.
Okay, versus 3.
His like goons aren't really like whatever. He's gonna whether make the call whether or not to fight, and they're not trying to back him up to be like, no, you should have to pay. They're like
Yeah.
just watching him.
Can I actually
Bluster.
use foolhardy against myself here?
Sure, you could give him 2 extra dice, and you get 2 checks.
Give him ligma.
You could just take
Because
minus
what are the
1
options again? It's
minus 1 die
minus
for
1.
1 check, or him 2 dice for 2 checks.
2 dice for 2 checks. It's tempting. But I also want to get my manipulator up. You know what? I'll go the. To help. I want to gamble so bad. Okay, now I'm gonna follow my soul. So I'll just use against myself. So it's minus 1 die for myself if I use it against myself.
Yeah, so you just use against.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. And can I also spend? I've already spent Persona on my Greatsword Wise.
You only have 1 wise.
I have 2 Wise. I have Greatsword Wise and Aelfwynn Wise.
That's right. You were like, you're like, I need to be more like this leader.
Yeah.
I need to know about how to lead.
And I think I'll spend a Persona point as well. Because I really want to intimidate this guy.
So you're just spending a Persona point and getting 2 help?
Yep.
Okay.
And using a check against myself.
Yeah,
using a trait against myself.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all good. Hey.
Look at that.
I hopefully I intimidate him.
Yeah, he pales a little and like huffs off. But he seems to, in name only, to save face, accept the apology and accept that you were on Lord's business, and he shouldn't have questioned you in the first place.
Well, he doesn't want to catch ligma.
Yeah. And yeah, sorry if it wasn't clear, the way I was using foolhardy was there was 6 people.
Yeah, I didn't question your use of foolhardy in this situation. It was very clear to me that this was foolhardy.
I figured.
Yeah, and he probably is going to go and like report this to some higher up, but if they question you and like it gets down to it, like there's 2 towns that are in like the thing that like basically asked you to be there, so it's like it's gonna not be a big problem, I don't think, for you, that you don't own the land in this area and therefore don't need to pay the taxes and are mercenaries working for the towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But awesome. Yeah, he huffs away. He was actually on his way to from Alderport to Crossroads, so he doesn't want to bother the other small towns or whatever. Like other small things, he just wanted to shake anyone. Easy targets down. He leaves. Yeah, you said you guys wanted to check out the neighboring the town, or the neighboring farmhouse. I will leave you on a cliffhanger. But you go there, and you definitely see, you see like a horse that's like ripped out, fresh. The horse was walking around nicely when you walked by the first time. That's how new it is.
Today?
Like earlier when you walked to the end, there's definitely you passed some animals in the field, and you walk back, and as you were walking back, you see one of the animals just ripped out and eaten a little, and you probably hear as you approach the because this is in the field, the horse, but as you approach the walk up the road to the farmhouse, because it's off of the main little road, it's off of it, you hear commotion at the barn, and that's where you see a creepy looking man amongst the trees. He's scared. He's not looking in your direction. He seems to be cocking his head as if listening to something, and then he's only creepy in the sense that his movements seem a little strange. Definitely not a ghoul though, and he hears a whinny of a horse's scream, and he runs, but trips, and he tries to run away essentially. With that horse's scream, that is where we'll end the session. That is where we'll end part 1 of this I guess reward cycle, because the end of next session, we will skip Bleach Instant Skulls next time, as long as we're all here, and if someone new comes like Steed, he'll do Bleach Instant Skulls at the beginning of the session. And if you miss the reward section next time, I don't know what we'll do. Maybe you just missed getting a reward. Maybe we'll reward you at the end of that session. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're flying by the seat of our pants. We're not prepared here. We are Digital Dungeons, and that has been first part of the adventure. I think that was well. Goodbye, people who have perhaps been listening to the VODs and or watching us. Take care. Until next time, we'll see what happens. There has been some blood spilt. We'll see what the adventurers do.
Dun dun dun.